you are.
Cool. Hi, everybody. I'm Urban. I'm the creator of a play called Custody. The play is about a family who experiences death in police custody. The play is to raise awareness about this issue. I developed the piece to try and raise awareness about the issue of death in custody in the UK because people think it's an issue that happens in America mostly, but it happens quite a lot here where a lot of people of colour die at the hands of the police or in state custody and nothing's done about it.
Okay. So who inspires you to do this particular piece?
I'm inspired by the black experience, or stories from the black narrative, from black cultures and things like that. I mean, I like stories from all different types of places around the world, but I'm really interested in telling stories of people who are not heard.
Yeah.
Stories that are not told.
Okay.
Things that are not really exposed. As I said yesterday in the show, the Q&A, that when I did it, I really wanted to give an insight into the experiences that people of colour have with the police that other people might not know. So it's just that passion to tell stories that have never been told before.
Definitely. So do you think people care?
I think people do care.
Okay.
I just don't think that they know what to do about it specifically. Like, if you know this is going on, it's like if you're a man and you find out, other men have done bad things towards women, and and the way you act is the way that might contribute to it. You have to check your own behaviour, and that's really, really hard for people.
Yeah.
So I think that is one thing, having the conversation to raise awareness about it, but I think the next step is to see if we can facilitate people to feel a bit more relaxed. They can find their own solution.
Okay. Because I know that people, they know what's going on, but like you said, they are afraid, but also the consequences of reporting something or saying something.
Mm-mm.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that people are scared of the consequences because they like it's a really big thing to talk about stuff like this, to talk about racial injustice, to actually say this is wrong. For example, in a lot of the cases in custody, the police officers, one police officer will know they were there, but they all cover each other's back. So I think it's like trying to facilitate or creating a culture where if you work with somebody and they have said something, you need to be able to come up to them and be like, this is not okay. But it's hard. I think within our culture, it's very, very hard because we're very much, don't talk about this, like sweep things under the rug, which is why we're doing this play, to try and help people to talk about it more, even have uncomfortable conversations. It's fine, but by having those uncomfortable conversations, we will get to the solution. Yeah,
for real. So what's the name of your company?
So the company that I work with is a collective called The Art Machine.
Yeah.
It's like a collective of black creatives and black artists, theatre makers, stylists, and all kinds of different creatives of colour. And the whole point is to really tell stories of people who don't have a voice in society to tell their own stories. So in our work as artists, as visual artists, as creatives, we try to tell those stories. But this project is actually in collaboration with Overhouse Theatre, and it's also in collaboration with Faith Drama Productions, which is another BME theatre company, theatre production company that works in East London primarily, that works with people who are in care, works with different vulnerable groups, creating really amazing pieces of art. So it's not only me, but it's like almost coming together with other people, other community projects to put on this work.
Okay. So I had the privilege of watching it yesterday, Custody, and I really enjoyed the play. I really liked how everyone worked together. So tell us about the cast, a little bit about the cast and who's involved, really.
So the cast is mainly women of colour, which was quite important to me because in the research that we did when we were developing the piece, a lot of the people who were campaigning were women of color. And so I really wanted to reflect that in the piece, where all the other characters apart from my character are women of color. So we were really passionate about casting strong women of color who are really amazingly talented in their craft, and so they're all amazing actresses, movers, vocalists, and also great performers, and they really have a great emotional availability and really care as well about this kind of work, and have really been passionate about the cause that we're trying to raise awareness about.
Okay. One thing as well that hit me in the play was the actual face, or the silhouette of the face.
Yeah.
And it being there twice as well.
Yeah.
Let the people that are just hearing about it now know about what the significance of that is, or if they're coming tonight or tomorrow.
So, are you talking about like the set and stuff?
Yeah, so you know there's the red outing and then they've got...
Yeah. So like when we're coming up with that concept, it was a marketing director we were working with at the time. He came up with the concept, you know, of a face that could have other faces on it, and it was a face to show an outline that any black man or even a black woman can be that face. And now they're gone, so that's the whole concept behind it, and that kind of opening of going into their minds of what they were experiencing, you know, going into the heads and the experiences of those people. That's where the concept comes from. But it's meant to be Brian. It comes from the line, Brian is every black man and every black woman, which is a line in the play, to show, you know, there's so many people who have died and consistently die in police custody. And as we said in the Q&A yesterday, you can look at a case, most cases, and put them in almost be identical in terms of what's supposed to happen and how the police would deal with it and stuff like that. So that's where it comes from, the concept and the idea.
Yeah. So I also understand that you interviewed, or not, I don't know if it was you personally, but you interviewed...
It was me,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you interviewed people that have actually suffered from police in custody, or the families.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It was really, really horrifying to hear these stories, because you don't really, as a person who lives in society, you know, you call the police to come and help you if you're in trouble, if someone's beating you up, if something's gone wrong, and you trust that when whatever you do, they'll help you and it will go right. But to find out that the police were actively, you know, covering things up and lying, you know, it makes me very scared for my own life, and it really affected me in some ways where I was afraid to drive, you know, because I'm scared of my encounters with the police. I just try to avoid police encounters all the time now, because when you're there, you don't know what's going to happen. So I just try to avoid it, really.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because I've been stopped by the police as well, and the fear is still in you. You know, when you see a police car go past or whatever, you're just like, please don't stop.
Yeah.
And even now, when there's a police car, you're like slowing down. You know, all that stuff. They're coming to get you, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So for the young people out there that are facing this kind of police brutality, or however people want to describe it, what would you say to them?
I would say educate yourself.
Yeah.
Get involved in actively changing things.
Okay.
I don't think that anybody is too old or too young to get involved in changing things. And I think that the more, as people of colour, we get involved and more aware about political institutions and the ways in which we can engage with them through grassroots organisations, you know, by supporting other organisations like Inquest and the Runnymede Trust and you know, the United Friends and Family Trust, who's an organisation that supports these families and goes on rallies and helps them to campaign and work with other people. I think that once we start to do all things as a community, I think we will change things. But I don't think that, I feel like sometimes, which is one of the reasons why I did this show as well, to make even people of colour aware. Because I think that it's easy in your day-to-day life to forget why we did this or why this is important.
Yeah. Another thing as well that hit me as well was that, like, my dad, he's always saying that it's the same back in the 60s, 70s, etc. And it's true, like, whatever happened then is happening now. So it does question, is there going to be a change?
Yeah.
Do you think there is going to be a change?
I used to say no. I used to be like, no, there's not going to be any change. And to be honest with you, a part of me still feels that way.
Yeah.
But, because of the change of social media, because of the Me Too movement and the effect that that's really had on culture.
Yeah.
And it's such an amazing time, as well as much as it's challenging, it's an amazing time because for me, I'm seeing really, men who are in power, who had money, fall apart and be taken down because of social media, because of the news, because of people speaking up. And I'm hoping that we can get to the same place with race relations and with racism. And that's my hope. So a part of me is like disheartened, and I feel like we'll ever get anywhere, but a part of me is also be like, wow, this could happen because there's new technology, which means people are supporting each other in a different way. People are coming together in a different way. And we've seen social media change things, like the Arab Spring and that kind of movement that started in Nigeria, and all that stuff happened because of social media. So even the riots that happened when Mark Duggan happened was mainly because of people on BBM and things like that. So because of that, I'm hopeful that something will click in time soon, and people will be held accountable.
Because what I've noticed in Coventry anyway is that we start something, it kicks off for say like a month, and then goes dead silent. Just like most issues like Grenfell and things like that.
Yeah.
So how, or do you have any suggestions on how to keep it moving, if that makes sense?
I think for me, keeping it moving is to keep this project going for as long as I can, which is obviously hard because it's subject to funding. It takes a big team to do all this stuff and to put it on. But I do think that, I just think because of social media now, you can maintain some sort of activity, you can do things, and you can keep conversations going. And I do think it's possible. I really, really do. I think it's just a matter of something happening and something clicking, but in the right time, in the right way, things can happen. Because even if it's just, let's say if it was a thing where somehow the cities become even more connected, that's why I really wanted to come up here, because I'm just like, we all need to connect together, because it's hard for one person to keep going like this. We all need to be connected. And I was trying to connect with all the other artists who are here doing similar work, putting on plays, putting on films. I'm coming to, I think, here for a screening of a film that my friend has made. She was there yesterday, and her name is Sienna, and she developed a film which is an amazing documentary about families who had experienced death in police custody. Me connecting with her as a theatre maker to come together to create an event, that means the load is easier. We cover 2 spaces, which is London and the Midlands, rather than just one project. That's the
connecting
together, and I think that's what keeps things going.
So how do you go about making a movie or a documentary? How do you go about doing it for those who are listening? It's one of them, isn't it?
It literally is one of them, because I'm just like, I don't even know how I have done it. And if there's some things that I'm still trying to figure out in terms of how to get done, there is no one way. But I think that when it comes to theatre specifically, I would say being involved in youth theatres, as many youth theatres as you can, in as many places, NYT, getting mentors. I think that that's the most important thing. Writing to people that are doing what you want to do, and asking them, how do I do it? Can I follow you? Can I can I get taught by you how to do what I'm doing? You know, can you train me up? You know, I have only got to even doing what I'm doing because I've had certain mentors to be like, okay, this is how you do this is how you do that, this is how you do this, or even connecting me to the right people or to the right opportunities. Sometimes it's like theatres give grants, you know, they'll give you a budget to create your own piece as an emerging artist to try and take you from one level of professionalism to the next, you know. And that's a lot of the programs that I've taken a part of. There's also development grants, you know, from the Arts Council. The Arts Council have been a big supporter. They support you to develop your own projects. And yeah, there's a lot of community projects out there that you can get involved in. I think as long as you're actively doing
checking it out,
checking it out and doing something, then you will get there in the end.
Okay. So basically my dad, when he spoke yesterday, he was talking about I don't know if you remember, about possibly things like DVDs of the play and things like that.
Yes.
And he said, well, you know, do you think especially young black people will want to come to the theatre?
Basically, I thought that was a really good question actually, because I do think that when you go to watch a piece, sometimes it's just like really powerful and you're thinking, well, how do you get this to the next? And I just, like you said, it's about connecting. You know, I think what we're doing is great, connecting with you, doing something for your page and facilitating the conversation about this, you come to support the show and things like that, and creating a network of people. I think that that's how change is created and how things spread. But if you're well connected with each other, in terms of young people, I do think that theatre is not something that's really marketed to or in the culture of young people of colour, and that's something that I really want to change, but also that is subject to funding and things like that. I only got into theatre by chance. Like, by chance, because my teacher was really, really passionate and is an amazing teacher, and so she took me to the theatre all the time with our class. You know, and that's the only way I got to. None of my cousins, my family, my brothers and sisters, they're not into theatre. They never got a chance to really be creative at all. Because I come from an African household, you know, and it's all about academics. So I think that it is important, especially to show. I think what is really important to show, like, kids of colour, that you can express yourself in so many different ways, that you don't have to be not doing the same thing as these stereotypes, which I'm not saying is not a bad thing. You know, I love our music, I love hip hop dance, and I just think that there's so many eclectic ways that we can express ourselves. And I also think theatre here is shown that it's people for white middle class people because of the way it's structured here. But when you go back to Africa, you know, theatre is just something that we do all the time. You know, in masquerades and events. You know, traditionally, even part of religions, there's rituals you have to do. There's characters you have to embody and things like that. That's normal. That's embedded in our culture, and I want to really, through this work, is to connect that with other people. I think it is important to get out to the kids. But I think what my director answered to that question was, although that's really something amazing to put something on DVD, and what I really want to do is actually see if I can make this into a film and then put it out like that. But theatre, you know, just like in African culture, theatre is a very sacred thing in a sense, and it's used for religious purposes. And the reason being is because there's something about being, you know, it's just like when you go to a concert and it's playing live, and there's something about the energy, about the spirit of it that has to be sacred and experienced in that place, you know. And I think that's what my director was talking about, and I would love to do both. I'd like to connect with younger people, younger kids of colour, but I would also like to give them that experience of live theatre. I remember the first play that I watched, and I was in it, and I was just like, wow, like I'm not sitting on my sofa
watching it.
I'm here. I'm seeing the characters right in front of me. I'm in there. My whole body is in the set.
Yeah.
Like I'm experiencing it with them in real life time.
Yeah.
And I think when once you get that experience, it really changes you. So I'm really passionate about getting it to other places and getting it to other people. But we'll see how it goes because the arts right now is a very tough place to be.
Yeah. Do you think? I kind of know the answer sort of to this, but do you think the police could ever come and watch this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had some
Okay.
ex-police officers.
Okay.
From I think it's like there's a black there's a I think black association of officers or ex-officers, and they came to watch, and the ones that came were really supportive of the project, and they were really supportive of other campaigns like the Stephen Lawrence campaign and things like that. So there are some people who have stepped out and said this is what's happening, and they testified that the police do use brutal force in some cases.
So we're kind of coming to the end anyway, but for you, how would you describe the play as a summary?
I would describe the play as ethereal. I would describe the play as political, and I think just amazing theatre.
Yeah.
It's what I like to see in theatre. I don't know if it's everybody's style.
Yeah.
Because I've always done things quite spiritually, and I was taking it to a spiritual place. It always ends up somewhere spiritual.
Well, I like that in the play.
Yeah.
Because it talks about the ancestors and things like that. I really like that and enjoyed that.
Thank you. That means a lot because it didn't have that in the beginning.
Okay.
So that's something that I really fought hard for to be in the piece. And we weren't sure how it was going to fit. Because when we developed it the first time, the first part was just them in their house dealing with the death and stuff like that. That's another element we put in after. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it yesterday for definite. Also, it made me think about Freeman as well. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah, I heard a lot about Freeman.
Yeah.
I'm going to see it, I think, this month. It's coming to London.
Okay.
But a lot of the cast were there, and the company that produced it, and I'm really, really excited and hope I could do some work with them in the future. Yeah.
Because it's a good one to watch as well.
Yeah. I'm really excited about it coming to London. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so on my channel as well, I always ask either the artist, whoever it may be, to do either a little something.
Yeah.
Are you up for that?
This is a song from the play Custody. It's a song in Yoruba. It talks about it's a lullaby that the mother character used to sing to Brian, who died. And in some, there's a sequence in the piece where the mom has a dream of her singing to her son in Yoruba, and it goes, "Ọmọ mi, ẹ̀rọ bọlọ́jà tó bá sọnù, ọmọ mi, bàdé mi nílé, ọmọ mi, bàdé mi nílé." And basically, it's a mother who's gone to the market with their child, and they told them, "Meet me here. Regardless of what happens, meet me at this place."
Okay.
And it's basically kind of like a song about taking care of your child, and a mother's love and their protection over their child, and giving them instruction: don't get lost, come home, come back to me.
Okay.
And it's basically. The significance of it is like connecting it back to when black mothers tell their child here, when you go out, come back safe, bring yourself back, and that's the issue. A lot of times we don't know if our sons, our daughters are going to come back.
Yeah.